Good morning from Geiger Grade. It is a beautiful fall morning, well, early afternoon. It took a while to warm up today, so it took a while for me to get out. Headed up to Virginia City. Gonna drop down the backside today and then work my way back around. I have something I think we should talk about. I get asked quite often how I stay motivated, how I constantly do these big rides, big runs, how I have the motivation to put in large training weeks, 20-hour training weeks, and have no races lined up. How people wish they had whatever it is I have, how they wish they had the motivation I have. Yeah, it comes up quite a bit. So today, I thought we'd talk about that. How I stay consistent, how I put in these big high volume blocks, and how I have that hunger to keep pushing so much. Because truth be told, I lack motivation all the time. So it's not about motivation, not at all. It's definitely more about the dedication. Okay, this video is not gonna be some, oh, I'm gonna hype you up. I'm gonna give you this inside secret. I'm gonna be this poster boy for what you should be doing. No, this video is just gonna be me sharing my insights, what works for me, and how I do and stay consistent. More on that in a little bit. I need to get up this mountain. Ew! All right, 21 miles in, 2,500 feet climb, made it to Virginia City. Snack time. Yeah, so piggybacking off the intro, motivation. That is definitely just something I do not rely on, count for, anything like that. Motivation I throw right out the window. You know, I could be motivated for an hour to do something and then spend the next 2 days unmotivated. I could be motivated all week long and then one day it's all gone. So I do not rely on motivation to consistently train, to consistently be consistent on the bike or run or anything that I'm into. That is just, I throw it out. Dedication, hunger, drive, those are the things I rely on to carry me through day in, day out. I always have the drive to kind of push myself a little bit harder or do something harder, dedicated to whatever it may be at the current time, whether that's getting in shape for a race, getting ready for a race. I'm all in when I fully committed. I am dedicated. So with that said, I think that is one of the biggest things that carries me in, day out. You know, last week I had a solid 20-hour training week. Before that, I did one of my biggest rides ever, 138 miles. This morning, 5:30 a.m., the alarm goes off, and you know how badly I wanted to sleep in and be like, no, screw this. Just was not feeling it, did not want to wake up and go to the gym and run and then get on the bike for a long ride today. I was coming up with every excuse possible. But at the end of the day, who's going to be happier? The guy that sat on the couch or the guy that went out and got after it? For me, the guy that went and got after it, because I know physically I will feel better after doing that than doing absolutely nothing all day. So people who think I am an extremely motivated person, you could not be further from the truth. Definitely not. Okay, that's just a little piece to kind of kick this thing off. I've still got like 60 miles to go, killer descent right now, and then some really boring road before we get back to some good stuff. So let's go send it downhill. 49 miles and 3,500 feet climbed so far. I'm getting my butt kicked today. I must be guess I'm a little bit on the tired side, I don't know. I thought this was gonna be like an 80-mile day, but it looks like it might be a little bit less. I mean, it's all good. Little titty sandwich snack time, you know. I am roasting also, so maybe that's part of it, maybe that's part of it. Oh yeah, bald guy. I'm not sure everybody noticed yet, but yeah, took that off. Yeah, it's a little bit warm today, so that could be part of it too, or I'm just completely bonking right now, I don't know. Since we're having a snack, let's talk about another thing. Fitness. I have been unfit, unhealthy enough times and for long enough that when I kind of crossed over into that fit side and like long endurance stuff, like I do not want to go back. That is a big part of why I am so hungry every day to wake up and try to do something, why I try to do these big volume weeks, why I do so much fitness, is because I spent so much time being unfit and I just don't want to go back to that. Once you really get to a certain point and realize like how good it feels to be fit and how much your body craves it, like you don't want to go back. I mean, it was bad enough to the point that there was a point in time that I couldn't get within a 2-mile radius of McDonald's without knowing that there was a new McDonald's there, smell it, and then my mouth starts watering and I get a craving and I gotta go eat McDonald's. Like, I don't want to go back to that. I never want to go back to that. That's definitely one reason why I do so much and why I'm so big into all this endurance stuff. I've had an unhealthy lifestyle before and I don't want to go back to that. Don't get me wrong, cheeseburgers are great, but that lifestyle, that eating fast food nonstop, that not living a healthy or active lifestyle, like, is not fun. It is miserable. So that's another reason why. Okay, so I'm over here in Carson. There's this little like dirt section I've been eyeing for a while now that I think I can get back to where I want to go by taking it. I just never known how hard of a dirt section it is. I'm feeling pretty run down today, so I figured I'd give it a try. The other option is to do the big climb to get back up and over, or try to do this. So I'm gonna try to do this. All right. Gotta love having road tires for a reason.
Just
it may be fall, but I still get hot spots, so that's what this creek is for. It's like almost home, but that's when they really start kicking up, so I always stop here and I can at least get my feet cooled off. Like, it's so frustrating. These things do so terrible with wind noise. I even have fluffies on this. I even have fluffies covering the microphone and it still does nothing. Because I love running, riding, endurance sports, outdoors, that's another big part of how I'm able to just do day in, day out, stay consistent. I absolutely love riding my bike. I love running. Sometimes I love swimming, but I also get bored easy. So having more than one sport and always having something to chase in one of the sports just keeps me hungry and wanting more out of each thing that I do. When I was training for triathlon, it's like I didn't have to think about it. I woke up and boom, 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 this is what you had to do today. And it was just nonstop. So finding that rhythm and getting into that rhythm of every day, it's just like once you find that rhythm, it is just so easy to do day in, day out and just keep going. Now, I'm not saying I don't fall off. I know I fall off. I'm human. I fall off at times, but what I've learned is the sooner that I can pick myself back up from falling off and getting back into it, the quicker I can get my fitness gains back and have less loss than before. I love endurance sports. I want to wake up every day and do that and chase that. I love doing really hard things, and the fitter I am, the harder the things are that I can do. So that's another reason why I push so much. You know, it's like I don't need a race or a carrot in front of me to wake up and go day in, day out and just train my brains out. Back to the triathlon thing. When I was training for triathlon, it's like I loved racing. I love being on a podium, but I love the journey to get to that point more. I love the training more than I actually loved being on the podium racing. I love that day in, day out grind. And then it was a nice like little carrot on top to see like how far you've gotten in your training. Yeah, so I think that's part of why I don't need a carrot to keep consistent, because I just love the journey so much. I love just doing the things that I love, the riding, the running, day in, day out, seeing how much volume I can stack, how much further I can push a bike ride. And on top of that, it's like, yeah, I love riding with friends or running with people and having a community, but at the same time, I don't need to solely rely on that to get me to show up and dig every day. I do so much training and so much riding and running solo that I am comfortable in my own thoughts for weeks on end. Yeah, I think that's another big thing, is just loving what I do. Loving what I do and loving doing hard things. It's just, I keep wanting to chase that further and further. How much further can I do? You know? Okay, I gotta get this bike ride over. It's a long ride Tuesday, and I've never stopped so much on a long ride Tuesday. Normally it's like one stop and we're done, but stupid wind. Back to life a little bit. Mile 67, 4,200 feet climbed. Sounds about right. I usually start feeling better after 60, or at least at mile 60 is when I like start to get into the groove of the ride. Yeah. Whatevs. So apparently Tuesdays from now on are going to be hot and windy. That's been like the recurring theme for Long Ride Tuesdays the past couple of weeks. So cold liquids are good. All right, some ride stats. It's probably not even that warm, but it feels like it. Oh no, 85 again. So spot on last week. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I have this like new thing. It's like I feel like just meh, okay, until about mile 60. And like almost feels like I'm bonking before I get to mile 60, and then like for whatever reason after mile 60, it's like I come to life, and then all of a sudden I'm like pumped and ready to go and feel good, and like that's when like the bike ride feels like it's just starting, is at like mile 60. It's happened a couple times now. I don't know what the hell that's going on. So is that like I have to have 60-mile warm-up before I can start a ride now? Kind of weird. Ride stats, we ended up with, hold please, Garmin is thinking. Ended up with 81 miles, 16.7 mile per hour average, 165 watt average, 4 hours and 53 minutes. A little bit short for a Long Ride Tuesday, unfortunately, but it's okay. That's still some decent saddle time in. 4,528 feet of climbing, so not very flat. And to finish off this video, one other thing. Obviously, I make content. It is kind of my job. I make a little bit of money from YouTube making these cycling, running, endurance, whatever videos. So that's another thing that keeps me consistent, keeps me pushing forward, keeps me just constantly riding, running, doing all the endurance sports and just staying after it, is because part of it is if I don't do it, there's no content for you guys. I don't know if any of this made sense today at all, per usual. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't have a particular thing that I can pinpoint or really explain, but there's several different things that just get me out of bed every day and make me want to run or ride, swim, train, whatever you want to call it. There's just some kind of purpose I get out of it, some kind of fulfillment I get out of it, out of chasing these, you know, big 20-hour weeks or big 100-mile rides. There's also something that I really enjoy about just knowing for the fact that I can wake up and go for a 100-mile ride. I can go for a 20-mile run. There's something about it that I just absolutely love. One of those things where it's just so ingrained in me and such a part of my life that it's just, when I'm really into the thick of it and into the rhythm of things, I can just wake up and train and ride and run and do all these things day in, day out, no problem, and not even think twice about it. You know, it's not a motivation thing. It's like I said, I have days where it's like I wake up and I'd rather sleep in, and sometimes I do sleep in, and sometimes I'm like, no, stop being a lazy ass and let's go, you know. So there's not one thing or one recipe. I think it's a trial and error thing that people have to figure out for themselves of what that looks like. Maybe it's, you know, having a race to train for that keeps you, you know, wanting to push forward and keep staying consistent. Maybe it's having a group of friends that are always, you know, on your butt saying, let's go out, let's go ride, let's go run. Maybe it's, you know, a fitness journey, you want to get somewhere. There's so many different things that can make you consistent, or AKA keep you motivated. I don't believe in the whole motivated thing, because there's plenty of times, perfect example was today, I was not motivated to go to the gym this morning and run before getting on the bike, but I did. Yeah, hopefully you guys got something out of this. I have no idea if that made any sense at all. I was just trying to answer like the consistent like question that I always get. How do you stay motivated? How are you always chasing these big 100-mile rides? How are you always doing these big hard efforts? How are you always staying consistent? All these things that kind of come up every now and then, and it's just, I was just trying to let you guys know what it is for me that makes me tick and makes me want to get out there and, you know, do these things day in, day out. Don't know. Hopefully that wasn't too crazy and made somewhat of sense. I got nothing else. I'm going to enjoy my cold liquids and get some big calories back in and call that a day. I'll see y'all in the next one.